Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Synergy. We have our people exploring the world right now. They're headed to the cave to find out what the chaotic light is. So we're going to continue that. Beyond that, I think we should continue to try and improve our districts. There's not a whole lot we can do to improve the scientific district. I was also looking at what other kind of market districts there are. There's the crafting district. Which, when you have that, it allows more people to be assigned to production buildings, which is kind of interesting. But right now, we don't really have a limitation there. And then you could have a harbor district, which is kind of cool, but we don't have access to a water pump yet, so we can't really do that either. But yeah, like the forge, we only have one person in there, and we don't have enough people to keep it maxed out anyway. So I think we should continue building onto our cultural square over here. People are pretty happy with their well-being, lots of culture, no knowledge though, so that's unfortunate. A little bit of knowledge in this side of town. I guess what we could do on this side is we could build the Hall of Wisdom. It's kind of an interesting idea. The expedition has reached its destination, the Light Strands. In a bed of what had probably been a strong stream long ago, the explorers follow the luminous signal they spotted from the city, and that leads them to a cave entrance. Although the cold coming out of the cave appeals to the thirsty travelers, it forebodes something strange. Once they enter the cave's narrow entrance, their path stops, closed off by a rectangular slab. The interstices on both sides are lit in a rather chaotic way. The rays of light seem to persist in the air and on the dust. What could this slab be hiding? Which approach will you choose? Let's be clever. It'll use some water, but I think we have extra water, don't we? Light strands. The explorers freeze and hold their breath, listening to the water seeping into the cracks and cavities of the cave's ground. Using echoes to guide their actions, they discover a side passage. The tunnel has obviously been dug by human hands. Some tools lie on the ground, apparently abandoned by their owners. The party collects them before carrying on their exploration. We will enter because there's no other option. There's a vortex in the middle of the room with a glow that provokes headaches. A metallic contraption forms a perimeter around the whirlwind, but it is hard to guess its use, as it seems to be out of order. One of the explorers introduces a tool into the vortex by fixing it to a rope, and the item comes back unharmed. She asks for permission to explore the inside of the vortex. Is it like really whirlwindy, or is it just kind of like a soft whirlwind? I don't know. Allow an explorer to enter the vortex. Why not? The explorer comes out of the vortex, her face and body marked with the blue symbols found on the tablets. She seems suddenly filled with new wisdom. Gained gear, gained tools, gained a tablet. Hell yeah, cool, good job, team. Put that person in charge of the scientific center. Our lethal risks. Our exploration party came back safe and sound from their quest to find the source of the strange light. However, we won't always be that lucky. We live in a dangerous and largely misunderstood world. Exploring it will require time and precious resources, but it will also involve taking some lethal risks. Once we recover our strength, we'll start exploring nearby areas and maybe try and understand the strange phenomena hiding in the desert. The City Prosperity Score shows your city's sustainability and well-being as it faces the challenges of the outside world. This score is refreshed every day. We need to reach an 800 and we're already at 1566. Look how good we are. It is the sum of all the district scores with a bonus for each type and housing scores. A penalty is then applied according to the number of citizens who are homeless, sick, or dead. This score therefore reflects your city's global resilience. And we've done that. Good job, us. The community, which seemed doomed not so long ago, is thriving again. Despite all its hazards, the world is no longer seen as just a menace. It is also viewed as an open door. Still, everyone is aware that the slightest sign of complacency, our infrastructure could become overwhelmed by the unexpected, and by our community's growing demands. We must improve our understanding of the natural world to predict it, despite its unpredictability. Fortunately, we are not the only ones facing this challenge. A new group is aiming to recreate bonds between isolated camps and share humanity's knowledge. We need to follow in their footsteps. Oh, we win! Hell yeah! Origins completed. Scorched Earth campaign completed. Where others merely hope to survive, you have reached prosperity. Your city is the first step in humanity's blooming, and is in harmony with its environment. Took us 4 cycles, 16 days. The best score is 1698. Did I do that elsewhere? Does that count the tutorial? I don't know. 27 completed this scenario. Good job. Cool. Well, let's go back. I think there's no clean water. That's not good. I think we need to steal some people from here and then put them here so we can deliver water to everybody. Picker's cabin, we got 2 people there, 1 person there. I don't think we need 2 people gathering sticks and lianas. So we could just have a freelancer. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and start this Hall of Wisdom. I don't know where to put you. Here's kind of fun. You're just slightly smaller than the width of this district, which is fine, I guess. I could also stick you up here and kind of like adjust things. I also don't know if you should be in the cultural square or not. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should be in the scientific district. Although you are not for science, you're for other stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and delete this road up here. And then plop you down. It's like here is fine. New tablet to decipher. Great news. People are back. Let's let them continue working on the arborist's workshop for now, and then we will deal with the tablet in a second. Let's go send more people out again. Send another expedition. We'll only send 4 people this time. It'll take them 3 days. Look, 3 days from everywhere. Just like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Delete this road. And then rebuild the road. Like this. And now, we should continue to improve the score of this district if we can. Let's throw down some benches. It looks like benches and tables provide the same amount of happiness. Oh, I see what the difference is the table has a much larger range of influence versus just the bench. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe we want to throw 2 tables like here and here to cover all these houses here. And then you could just smack down a bench like that. Just for now. What does the bird nest do? I don't know. It doesn't seem to do anything. Yeah, so we'll continue working on the Hall of Wisdom here. I would love to continue exploring and see what those other locales give us. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. I also don't know if we're gonna get any more people. It might be a good idea. I think maybe after this episode, we'll put a pin in this tutorial town and then move on to the main campaign. But let's focus on our exploration for now. Vaporous images. The explorers discover a dozen small courtyards made of stone and set close to one another. At the center of these courtyards, there are 2 symmetrical cylinders lying diagonally. When one of the explorers triggers a slab in one of the courtyards, the left cylinder starts hissing steam upwards towards the sky, while the right cylinder projects some light onto the steam. Water droplets are used as a screen for a projected image showing a rampart in ruins, overlooked by massive towers. Analyze the images, you will gain culture. Try and draw some water with a dice roll, and the next choice can have different results, or condense the steam, which we don't have advanced harvest methods, so we can't do that. Let's try and analyze the images. Much to the party's disappointment, it turns out that the projected city was never built. The projectors only contain the memory of an ambition, a city that would transform with its inhabitants' natural desires, instead of creating and structuring said desires. The blueprints are still worth seeing, and the explorers copy the plans and ideals behind the project in their notebooks. Interesting. Let's try and draw some water. The water comes up in amounts too small to be collected before it evaporates. Not only has the projector broken down, but the explorers can't get anything out of it. Well, we got some culture. And then we'll do the dune and the oasis after, and then we'll try the lake shores. I'm not sure what that does. Built a table? And these guys will build the bench as well. I don't have access to the longhouse or the turret house yet, so we can't really do that. We don't have irrigation canals either, and we also don't have access to the T-bar. But what we could do once they've wrapped up their arboriculture job for the arborist's workshop, we could see what the tablet holds, and then we could unlock the T-bar, because that is also a piece of research that we could do. I do want somebody to get the Hall of Wisdom done. Are we all out of rocks? No, we have rocks. Are we all out of bark? We have bark. Okay, so we just need a guy to be available to build the Hall of Wisdom. But now that we no longer have benches and tables queued up, should be pretty happy there. Yeah, this district is doing really good. How many days you got left? 1 day remains. I don't know what culture does. Maybe you use culture in the Hall of Wisdom, kind of like you do with tools and whatnot in the research center. I think that it makes sense that the tutorial kind of has a natural endpoint where it said victory, quote unquote, because if you can't get more people, you kind of have a limited number of where you can employ people. Because it would be nice to continue growing the town, but I don't know if we have access to all that stuff. Dry season is coming as well, so you want to keep that in mind. Alright. Sand clarification is interesting. Because we can make sand. Let's decipher the tablet. Oh! Saving wood. Use thorns in the production of tools by pulverizing them. I don't even know where you get thorns. Let's go ahead and try to work on the T-bar here. We don't have the Hall of Wisdom built. Hold on. Let's let that... Well, we should probably keep our people employed. How many days is this going to take? Thorn sharpening? 13 days. Same thing with sand clarification. These need the Hall of Wisdom. We could get more watery pods. We did get better yield. Why don't we get the watery pods one? I remember talking about doing that, and then I never did. Oh, we could learn how to notch. That's kind of interesting. And we did unlock the Arborist's Workshop. Where does that go? Allows worker to pick and prune. But what could they pick and prune? Would it be cinder? Because we have a picker's cabin that's kind of doing that. What is this? Care for trees from this outpost. They use mechanical arms to carry stumps. Oh, should I put it like out in here in the Sunshade Grove? Perhaps. Let's see. Maybe this is a sustainable way of a sustainable way of like harvesting bark or tree trunks, maybe? I guess bark comes from the cinder sprout as well, right? Yeah. So that's already being harvested sustainably. Maybe this will allow us to harvest tree branches. They're working on the Hall of Wisdom. Hell yeah. Are you guys back yet? You must be. I don't know where you went. We don't have 4 citizens available. We only have 1. And I assume that's because they're busy building this guy and delivering things to this dude. So let's go ahead and speed up time a little bit. I would love to send people out, but we don't have anybody available. Sorry, Explorer's Hut. More watery pods. That'll be good because that kind of makes up for the fact that we have fewer people working in our pickers' cabins out here. They'll get more watery pods from their picking tasks. Man, I just cannot get over how cool the progression of the buildings looks. Like, the art is so good in this game. 10 out of 10. They just started building that guy. This guy's only 35%. Let's go up to 4. We're just kind of waiting for the buildings to be completed, so no harm in waiting. Or, speeding up things. Yeah, T-bar would be nice. We're into the... Oh, no, we completed research. I always get tricked by the research being completed. I feel like we're jumping into the next season, but not quite. Harvesting task would be interesting with the notching. It does take 20 tools, but we did get 37 from our exploration, so that is nice. Terracotta roads. Smoother and easier to use. Interesting. Sewing. Task distribution. Number of positions is higher, but once again, we're holding off on number of positions because we haven't maxed out the houses that we do have. Why don't we go ahead and do notching? It only takes 7 days, and then we'll have extra tools to be able to do T-bar after the Hall of Wisdom is completed. So go ahead and let them do their job. That guy's gonna probably take a bit longer than the Hall of Wisdom to complete anyway. This place looks nice. Just a nice little scent garden. You can go have a debate about policy in there. Yeah, T-bar would be nice. I don't know if I have access to the longhouse in, or the turret house in the tutorial. I don't think you do. Hall of Wisdom was completed. So this is where I'm like, I don't know if there's enough people to sustain the village. Is like, now you have to have people in the Hall of Wisdom to do Hall of Wisdom research. It is interesting that it connects to the same research tree. Oh, can we be researching 2 things at once now? Is that how that works? Oh, cool. I like that. So the Hall of Wisdom can do its own research. They're researching the T-bar. These guys are researching notching. Holy cow, why does this one take so long? Or was T-bar always that long of a research time and I just didn't notice? It must have been. And we only have 1%, or we're only doing 25% efficiency, so that makes sense why it would be taking longer. Let's steal a person from there, send out our explorers team again, and let's send, well, why don't we go to the lake shores? I'm curious, does that, like, unlock a new area, or what? This one takes 4 days. It's a little further away. And now we're into the dry season for real. Got 7 new children. That's not good. They've joined the clan in a time of drought. So they said the purification basins dry up. Oh, we've finished arboriculture. Did we finish this guy over here? It's working on it. And technological research is available, so we should get that done too. Thorn sharpening? I don't even know where thorns come from. Sowing seems to be like it'd be a good thing. Collect fruit and vegetables. They will also sow new plants from our seed stocks. I like that idea, but it is a cultural research. So I see. So the cultural research can only be done at the Hall of Wisdom. The other one can only do technological research. It's a little confusing that they're like intermeshed like that, but I think it's fine. I'll figure it out. We'll go ahead and do thorn sharpening. Perhaps you get thorns from the arborist's workshop. We have one available citizen. Notching. Extract fluids. Prune big trees with precision, carefully preserving their integrity, and picking. So we could do pruning or an action we don't know about. So, scientist man, field laboratory, I would like you to do a new analysis of the tree. The sunshade tree, that is. And it looks like that is the only tree we are aware of. Unless the Diluvian bush? Nope. That's a different thing entirely. Yeah, this will be pruning. And we'll prune all of you guys. Thusly. Did you not do a surface analysis of the tree because I replaced it with pruning? How about this tree? It's right next door. Expedition has reached its location. The explorers aren't hoping for much. How many ponds seen from afar have actually been mirages? For once, though, the long journey leads to a region full of lakes. Of course, the water is mostly toxic, but our supplies could use a new source. Besides, there is water. Where there is water, there are often humans. Also, the surroundings around these lakes are quite green, and we could collect some plant matter from them. We could get soft fibers. We don't have any sand gliders, so we can't navigate the lake. And we could collect some water. Let's get some plant material. Reeds growing by the water become flexible once wet, so they can be used to craft various items. Oh, cool! And then you unlock even more stuff to explore. Like an island, a smoke cloud, and a camp. Very cool. Ding. When do those kids grow up? We have 7 children. Children become adults the next cycle. Okay, so that's a great way to grow the village. How many houses do we have? 1, 2, 3. We have 10. So we have 40 capacity. Okay, so we probably should build another house, assuming we'll end up with like 7 children again, because if we did get 7 children, we'd have 1 homeless person, which is not great for them. Or me. All right, you guys are working on thorn sharpening at the forge. You are working on cup of tea, and we need to get those kids because right now we're waiting on a lot of stuff. Receipt of analysis report. Pruning gives us... Oh, that gives us branches too. So the only way to get tree trunks is by felling the trees. We know about that. But getting more branches is good because then we can produce even more tools. We're at 113 units of water, 113 units of cooked meals. Well, that's good. I'm glad we have another source of branches and it's not just this little guy out here that's pruning these bushes. They've returned with their fibers. Cool. Let's turn right back around and head back out there to the Oasis. Good band. Oasis is one of those bands where, you know, everybody knows Wonderwall, everybody knows Champagne Supernova, but like any other song I hear from Oasis, I'm like, I don't know this song, but I actually like it a lot. Oh, Don't Look Back in Anger is another one. They like, do you know what I mean is another song by Oasis that I had not heard before, and I was like, this is a really good song. So if you're... Oh, the sunshade trees all shrank because of the dry season, I assume. Or maybe it's because I pruned them. I bet it's because I pruned them, actually, now that I think about it. But good source of branches. I wonder, I should probably add these 2 over here as well, because they pruned these trees like super fast. Let's go ahead and add a little path for them to get over there quicker. Like this. Oh, there's a little nook. Fine. Go around. There we go. How goes the research? We have 31 days on the wood, 67 days on the T-bar. It's gonna take forever. And I don't think we have any spare villagers, which is why this is not being built. Expedition has reached its destination. Free-range breeding. Upon approaching an oasis, the explorers spot a series of poles and bridges between the trees. They see some animals with incredibly fine wings resting there, their delicate and taut skin reflecting the blue sky. The party gets closer to observe the creatures, who seem to be wearing man-made harnesses that hold their wings in place. But the creatures are wary and take off, hissing at them. They're geese. With no visible faces, the noise seems to come from slits in their rib cages. Which approach will you choose? Place some bait. Collect some plant materials. I want to catch one of these things. After analyzing the droppings of some of the beasts and concluding that their diet is mainly composed of seeds and fruit, the party prepares some peace offerings. Bringing out a few treats, they try to lure the strange animals so they can observe their anatomy and behavior. The winged creature's most striking characteristic is in the physical difference between all members of the same group. Signs of aging between the youngest and the oldest in the flock show only after over 1,000 years, with their skin becoming thicker and paler. Those who built the aviary and harnessed these creatures probably all died long ago. We will leave. Neat. The creatures used to our presence let us get closer to their roosts and their nests. This allows us to study the writings of the inhabitants of yore. Neato. Well, that's cool. Oh, we're short on water again. What are you two doing? Left to eat. Clearly we need to take some of the children once they've gone through the full season and apply some of them to the assignment tower, because shortage of water is not good for anybody. I could also steal this person back from the field laboratory, because we've analyzed the tree again and we're not gonna reanalyze anything else, at least not for the time being. I'm kind of surprised that I can't tap the sunshade tree, but maybe that's a specific like water tree or something else in a different region that we could tap. Oh, you could tap the riverbank finger. Very interesting. Let's let this person build this house, and then we will reassign them to, where is it? The field laboratory, and then we can reanalyze the riverbank finger. I did not realize that the riverbank finger actually had a use. Because thank you for coming back. Because the other things that we knew about were like pruning it, or trimming it kills it, and then you can rip it out to gain some seeds. But otherwise, I wasn't sure what you do with riverbank finger. Alright, Explorer's Hut. One last time this episode, head out to the dunes, and then I think what we'll do next episode is we'll continue exploring. I don't know if all of the stuff in the tutorial is tied specifically to the tutorial, but I think it would be, I feel like I'd be missing out if I didn't explore the rest of these things over here, and then yeah, continue the research as well. We'll get some more kids becoming adults shortly, and then probably the following episode, once we've wrapped everything up that we want to do in the tutorial, we'll move on to the actual campaign. We don't have anybody to deliver things. Yeah, we need these kids to grow up like now, because otherwise they're we just don't have enough people to keep this large village functioning. We're halfway through the dry season, so things are going okay. Our water production is going to drastically lower. Reduced production. All recipes from this... Oh, you know what? That means we should steal the people out of here, because they're not producing any water. At least if I'm reading this correct. produce -10 clean water, so they only produce, unless they're producing 10 instead of 20. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Okay, never mind. I'm sorry, guys. Go back to it. Go back to work. For some reason, I thought they only ever produced 10, but I think it originally was 20. So they're just producing less water. Is that the same here? No, it's not. I'm curious, what does the dry season affect? Kind of seems like it's only the basin. Arborist Workshop's doing fine. Expedition has reached its destination. The traveling stone. The desert ground, although dry, takes on a clayey texture as the explorers progress. The sun mercilessly illuminates the area, making plain the party's complete solitude. Apart from a companion of the strangest kind, they come across a grayish 2-foot wide stone, quietly cruising through the sand. The travelers can't help but ask out loud where it comes from and where it is going, but the stone doesn't answer. Ah, what a rude stone. Driven by curiosity, the explorers consider their various options. Do we follow it? Carry out a geological study or analyze the movements? Let's carry out a study. There is no resistance from the stone when the explorers pick it up. In their hands, it is cold and lifeless. When hit with a hammer, it issues a sound that propagates under its surface before suddenly being muffled as if in contact with another material. This results clearly indicate that an examination would not be complete without analyzing the core. The explorers make an incision as long and wide as a finger on the stone's surface to avoid disrupting its movement capacity. While its core seems thicker and colder, it doesn't show any other characteristics. Analyze the movements? The explorers leave behind the strange passerby and concentrate on the curvy track he has traced in the desert. Apart from a few deviations to avoid obstacles, the traveling stone's trajectory actually forms a perfect circle. They suddenly wonder what might be found in the middle of the circle if that stone were in orbit. When they arrive at their destination, they see some forgotten building half buried in the sand. The origin of its magnetic effect on the stone isn't obvious at first. Exploring the building will require some time and effort. Do it! It's going to take 10 days. All right, let's pause the episode there. We will pick back up with our explorers, figuring out what's in that building, and then we'll continue to explore the rest of the map, and then probably finish off the tutorial here. So if you guys enjoyed the episode, click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more synergy of the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That also helps me out a lot. But until next time, everybody, I hope you have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!